Hey guys, it's Jen, aka Wigglicious. This video is about when I first was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and how I dealt with that and how I'm still dealing with it over 5 years later. I was first diagnosed with breast cancer in November 2015. It was my first mammography and or mammogram, and they found a 10 centimeter tumor in my left breast, and they told me that I would have to get a mastectomy, and if I got a mastectomy, I wouldn't have to do chemo, and it was stage 0, and they said if I got that done, then I would be fine, and stuff like that. So I was absolutely devastated. I mean, no woman wants to hear that, that you have to get a mastectomy and this and that. I mean, that's like, I think every woman's like worst nightmare. And when I was first told that, I was just like in shock. I was just mortified, absolutely mortified. But I was more worried about my children. I mean, my children were really, really young back then. I think Michael was 5 and Sophia was not even 2 yet. And all I could think about is that I want to be here for my children. So do whatever, you have to do. As long as I could stay here and be here with my children, that's all I care about. So I wound up getting the mastectomy back in 2016. And it was, I don't know, I mean, it was, I really don't know how it kind of like, when you're like living and you're functioning, but like you're really not, you're just going through like, the steps and stuff like that, but you're just not really comprehending, you know, what's really happening, your reality. It's like you're there, but you're not there. So that's kind of like how I was living. So I got the mastectomy, and then I eventually got, reconstructive surgery. And, I mean, I was accepting it. Richie was actually very supportive. And I just kept looking for, at my family and just saying, I just really just want to be here. I want to see my children grow up. I want to, I just want to, be here. I just like, I can't believe, it's just so scary. Just that's all I care about. I didn't really care about, my look, my looks, what my body looked like anymore. I just was focused on just staying alive, and I think it was 8 months after I got the mastectomy. First of all, after I got the mastectomy, actually the doctor pretty much screwed up on me, because after when they did the mastectomy, they were supposed to take out like all the lymph nodes, and they only took out like two lymph nodes. And when they tested it, they saw that it spread into the lymph node. So all of a sudden, now they're like, oh, well, you got the mastectomy, and now you have to do chemo, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And I was like, what? I was like, that's not what you told me. You told me I didn't have to do chemo. Why are you changing the story now? Like, and I was really upset over it, because I was like, that's not what you guys told me. So now it's like, I was like really angry, because I could have just got chemo in the first place and saved, my breast and stuff like that, and I probably would have been fine. I probably would have went into remission, and I probably would have been fine. But I went to 3 doctors, and they all said the same thing to me. And now all of a sudden the story changes, and I was just so upset. And I just felt like I just got this mastectomy for no reason, and I was just very upset. So I was just doing like a healthy approach to it. And I think it was like 8 months after I got the mastectomy, I started feeling extreme pain. I felt like my ribs were cracking, they were like on fire. My lower back, it was like electricity. It was just a horrible, horrible feeling. And I was just popping, Tylenols like Like you wouldn't believe. I was going through piles of Tylenol like weekly. And I was just so preoccupied because at that time, my kids were really small, so I was, taking care of them. I had a dog at the time, Rocky. He was going through health issues, and he was going through like heart problems, and he was dying, and that was devastating in itself. So I was just putting my health like on the back burner, and I was just doing the daily things I was doing, and I was going to, the primary doctor, this and that. I was like, I'm in a lot of pain, I just don't understand. So they were telling me, oh, maybe you need your gallbladder out, maybe this, maybe that. So I remember it was Memorial Day weekend, 2017. Never forget it. I was in so much pain. I went for um, a CAT scan or something like that. And I came home that day, Richie drove me home. And I told Richie, I said, something is not right. I said, I am in so much pain. I can't wait for, I was probably like, what, 4 days, after Memorial Day weekend and stuff like that, for a doctor to get back to me and tell me, what's wrong with me. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'm going to the emergency room. And that was it. I was like, that's it. I'm going to the emergency room and that's final. I have to know what's wrong with me. So I went to the emergency room. It was at night. And they did like a CAT scan, and everything. And then the doctor came in and he was like, I'm very sorry. He's like, your cancer spread to your liver, your lymph nodes, your whole torso, bones, your ribs, your spine, your collarbone. It was just, it was insane. I was just like, oh my God. Like, no no one could ever prepare you for something like that. I just remember thinking to myself, like, that's it. Like, I'm going to die. And I was in so much pain that I was just like, and numb and shocked that I wasn't really like taking it in. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't really realizing it. And I just wanted the pain to go away. And it was crazy. And so then I was, admitted obviously into the hospital, and they started doing all this radiation, uh, key testing, chemo, all this stuff. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna die, I'm just gonna die. And I'm looking at all these elderly people that were in the hospital, with me and stuff like that. I'm like, these people are in better shape than me. And I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Um, so I was in the hospital for like, oh my God, I think like 2 weeks or almost 3 weeks or something like that. And I was so happy to get out, And then I got a port put in me. My scar is right here. That's my scar. My port was in me. And when I got my first chemo treatment, it got infected. And 4 days after I had my first chemo, I my whole body was like paralyzed. I couldn't move, so I had to be rushed to the emergency room again. And I had 105 fever. My blood pressure was like astronomical. And so I had to get admitted into a private room for infectious disease because I had septic at that point. And I just remember thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I, I'm not gonna make it." I mean, I got one chemo treatment and I almost died. I was just like, "That's it." I was like, "I'm not gonna be able to withstand this. My body's not gonna take this, and I'm gonna wind up dying." So, it was just so horrible. And the crazy thing is, my mother, who was only 69, was in great shape, the best shape of her life, looked amazing, had nothing wrong with her, always went to doctors and stuff like that. She came to see me in the hospital, and, I was crying to her. I was like, Mom, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm not going to see my kids grow up. And she's crying with me and this and that. And she goes home, and I think 2 days later, she falls in the house. She gets rushed to the hospital, and they find out she has acute leukemia. Like, first of all, cancer doesn't run in my family. Like, nobody had cancer before in my family on both sides, my mother and father's side. So it was really weird. And they put her in the hospital. They rushed her to this, very prestigious cancer hospital in New Jersey. I was in the hospital. I don't really know what was happening, but I know they pumped her with a lot of like chemo and stuff. I think too much. And my mother died within like 2 weeks. And I don't even know how I got through that. But because I think she passed suddenly, I was able to get through my sickness because I was so numb and so shocked that I couldn't believe that my mother died, and I was, still living. And actually, I started to get better. I started to get better once I got my radiation and I got my port taken out and I started getting chemo done intravenously. I started getting better. And I think because she passed away so suddenly, it just helped me get through my sickness that first year, because I was so devastated and so numb. And I've been living with stage 4 for 5 years now. And my body's been taking, to the targeted chemos. It's been taking, really well with it. I did have a scare back in 2020. It spread to the brain. I actually had radiation, targeted radiation on my brain. I had 3 tumors. Thank God it worked well and stuff. But the what people don't understand is that when you have stage 4, there is no cure. So I have to go for chemo for like every 3 weeks. I have to go for constant testing every couple of months, just to see if it's, spreading and stuff. And then when it starts to spread, they have to change the chemo, the targeted chemo I get. And right now I'm on a second one. But unfortunately for the type of cancer I have, um, there's a lot of different targeted chemos that could help. And what I have is like an environmental chemo. It's not genetic. So they have a lot of different medicines that help, and the radiation they have nowadays is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So um, I'm just taking it one day at a time, and living with Richie definitely keeps my mind not focused on my condition. I'm so focused on him and his craziness that I kind of put everything in the back of my mind, so I don't deal deal with it too much, and I just focus on taking care of my kids and my dogs and just trying to enjoy life as much as I can. But it's definitely not easy, and there's some days that are worse than better. But I have to say, thank God for my family because they really give me the support and motivation to keep strong and to keep going and stuff like that. But it's definitely not easy, and something you can never, ever, ever imagine unless you go through it yourself. So, I know there's a lot of women out there dealing with it. So if you ever want to like reach out to me and need someone to talk to or ask questions or anything, please do. My email is angryjenmensuck@gmail.com. Again, angryjenmensuck@gmail.com. Email me. You can ask me anything pretty much. I mean, I'm an open book, and I think, people should communicate and vent to one another, and never deal with this alone. Never. Okay? So anytime you want to email me, please do. All right, guys, take care.